Today is a Nintendo Switch day apparently. Now I normally don't like doing two videos on the same subject in the same day, but some new stuff on the Switch has popped up in just the last couple of hours. I did of course put together all the new information I had earlier on today, but some new stuff has popped up that is worth discussing. So the first of which is a couple of things regarding the actual dock. Now you may remember that a little while ago there were some rumours saying that the dock itself had some extra processing power, so that when it was in console mode of course it had better frame rate and stuff like that. And there was a fresh rumour today thanks to Laura Kate from Let's Play Videogames.com, where she tweeted to that effect that there is extra processing power within the dock. But Nintendo themselves have made a statement to IGN. While it doesn't come out and say that that isn't the case, it does seem to imply that the primary piece of the hybrid console is the unit with the screen, not the dock. And a Nintendo rep said, quotes, "The main function of the Nintendo Switch dock is to provide an output to the TV, as well as charging and providing power to the system." So, of course, that could be that doesn't really help us. It seems to imply that all the dock does is output the signal to the TV and obviously charge the handheld section and a few other bits. But of course it could imply that the dock does perform some computational processing. So basically, we don't quite know. Nintendo seem quite content to let us know what the thing is, but not exactly what's in it, or exactly how it works, or anything like that. Now, what's interesting to take into account here is that the handheld unit of the Switch does have all the hardware components of the system. Games are running directly on the device. You obviously put the controllers on the side of it, and obviously the SD cards, or whatever they end up calling them, do slot in to the side of the tablet arrangement as far as I understand. However, there is some stuff on the dock, of course, for example USB ports and obviously a HDMI port for outputting it to the TV. So, given the size of the dock, it does look like there could be extra processing power in the dock itself, and it would make sense. But, of course, Nintendo are remaining as cagey as ever, and they do seem to be implying that it's just the handheld section, but we don't know for sure. The second piece of Switch news today is that physical versions of 3DS and Wii U games are not backwards compatible with the Switch. Now that's hardly surprising. There's no disk drive on this thing. It is going to be using SD cards or some form of cartridge in place of discs, which, as I said in the comments in my previous video, is actually a good move given the faster read-write speeds of a SD card versus a disc. So it does make sense that of course it wouldn't play Wii U games, but it's a little bit surprising that perhaps it wouldn't be compatible with 3DS, because obviously you could have a 3DS port on the side of the things for those little cartridges, but this is for physical version, so it does kind of say in theory that a digital version of a 3DS game or a Wii U game that isn't being ported to the Switch could be played on the machine, but physical versions will not be backwards compatible, as Nintendo did say many months ago when we didn't know what this thing was, that the machine is not a successor to either machine. And our last piece of Switch news today is actually more related to Nintendo, but after the reveal of the Nintendo Switch, the company suffered a 7.3% drop in its stock overnight. Now, shares in the company did hit a high of about $261.60 after the unveiling yesterday, but are currently sitting around $242.40 according to the Financial Times. Now, this drop does come 1 day after they received a 4.6% increase in shares the night before the Switch was revealed, adding $1 billion to Nintendo's market value. However, despite this drop, Nintendo's share price is still up 53.1% this year, largely thanks to the incredibly successful Pokemon Go. So, you can read something into that, or you cannot. To be honest, stock prices do tend to fluctuate, that's kind of the nature of what they do, but it is interesting nonetheless to at least know that the stock did rise in anticipation of the announcement of the Switch, and of course have gone back down afterwards. But of course, what long-term effects we see, we're going to have to wait to find out, unfortunately. So, that's it. I'm done for the Switch today. That's it. Dust in my hands, all done. Thank you very much for watching. Again, guys, your support is really appreciated, and I'll see you next time.